Hello and happy Thursday afternoon. Yeah, I'm coming to you for a second time because that first time was really just a lovely pantomime. My microphone was not working. Such things happen in the course of life. Sometimes that means that we have to repeat a step in our work or in our processes, but here I'm back because I care so much about this topic. I wanted to make sure that you did not miss out on this great information. So, 4 mistakes that are sabotaging your sleep. Before we get into that, I'm Caroline Milton. I am a certified health coach, former engineer and maintenance manager, and now the owner of Milton Coaching Collective, where we provide stress management and burnout prevention services for individuals and organizations through coaching, education, support, and accountability. So, I want to talk today about the topic of sleep and why this resonates so much with me. Because when I experienced burnout myself, a key driver of this was lack of quality sleep. Now, I was really focused on quantity of sleep. So I had heard many times throughout my life, we should be getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep as adults. And so I was protecting my sleep in terms of quantity as much as possible, but I really had no understanding about the variables that were impacting quality of sleep, and in particular, the mistakes that I was making on a daily basis that were impacting my quality of sleep. I want to share those with you today. So the first mistake that I was making was my caffeine intake. It was not uncommon for me to down an energy drink before hitting the gym at 7 p.m. at night, only to have my head hit the pillow 3 hours later in anticipation of bedtime. Now, caffeine has a half-life of 5 hours. If that's confusing, don't worry, it's confusing. All that means is that caffeine takes 10 hours to completely exit your bloodstream. And when caffeine is present, it impacts the quality of sleep that you're getting. You can fall asleep while caffeine is present in your body. So don't mistake that for assuming that all the caffeine is out of your system. It's still in your body. But what it is doing is impairing your natural cycle through stages 1, 2, 3, 4, and REM cycle sleep. So your normal sleep rhythm is set up to start your night with long periods spent in your stage 3 of sleep. That's repair, restoration, recover from illness or injury, digestion, things like that. As the night goes on and you cycle further and further into sleep, you spend less time in that stage 3 and more time in your REM sleep. So that is where memory consolidation occurs and more of like your brain health is occurring. When caffeine is present, it's impairing your body from naturally cycling through those in the way that they should. So mistake number 1 is caffeine intake within 10 hours of bedtime. So what can you do about it? Well, start paying attention to your relationship with caffeine. There are so many other ways of giving your body more energy beyond drinking coffee or other caffeinated beverages. Limit your intake after the noontime hour or altogether. If you can substitute something else in for coffee or caffeine, great, do that. Mistake number 2, I turned to alcohol at the end of my day as a way to wind down, or as some people say, wind down. But alcohol also impacts your body's natural sleep rhythm. In fact, while alcohol is present in the bloodstream, you cannot naturally go through those cycles, and you're going to flip-flop your REM cycles in your stage 3 cycle. So you're spending more time at the beginning of the night in those REM sleep cycles. This is going to impact your overall restoration and recovery overnight. Alcohol has a lifespan in your body of 25 hours. So that means if I drink it today, it's going to impact my sleep tonight and impact me all the way until tomorrow. So it doesn't really matter when you drink alcohol, it's going to impair your sleep. So if you can reduce alcohol intake or eliminate alcohol altogether, reevaluate your relationship with it, it will translate into more energy for you in your workday, in your personal life, so on and so forth. Mistake number 3 was my blood sugar levels, in particular having unstable blood sugar levels when I went to sleep. That can be driven by intake of alcohol right before bedtime, but also it can be impacted by the things that we're eating throughout our day and into our evening. A good course of action for this is to make sure that all of the meals and snacks that we're eating have a fat profile, a carbohydrate profile, preferably with fiber or other complex carbohydrates, as well as protein. This is going to ensure our blood sugar stays stable and we don't experience a blood sugar crash or a mimic of a blood sugar crash that might come from something like caffeine. And the fourth mistake that I was making was around stress. You see, cortisol and melatonin act opposite of one another. So when we talk about a cortisol pulse, that is what tells your body alert. We are on, we are working. This is the height of the day where we hunt, where we gather, where we work, right? We want to experience a cortisol pulse early in the day, an AM cortisol pulse. In fact, researchers have found that a late onset of cortisol pulse is directly linked to depression. So when we have cortisol in our system directly before bed, that means that it's impairing our body's production of melatonin. And it stunts our sleep into the light stages of sleep. That kind of makes sense, right? When you think about our fight or flight response, and back way before when we might be under threat at nighttime from other animals or other tribes, so on and so forth, stress, the presence of stress meant to lighter sleep so we could be on alert. So this is impacting, again, the quality of sleep that you're getting. And this is definitely true for me when I worked in manufacturing. I slept at times with my phone literally in my hand, anticipating calls. So things that you can do to protect your sleep: implement stress management, breathing practices, meditation before you go to bed. Help alleviate the cortisol in your system and ensure that your body has activated your parasympathetic branch of that nervous system. Eliminate tech from the bedroom. Bright lights also initiate that cortisol pulse, whereas soft lighting, low light, low to the ground light, all of that helps encourage your brain and your body that it's time for sleep. So get tech out of the bedroom, especially your cell phone. If it means like getting a landline in order for work to call you in the middle of the night so you can ensure that you have a proper boundary in place, go old school, get that landline, because it's definitely not worth the sacrifice to your health to be sleeping right next to your phone. So those are the 4 mistakes that I was making when I worked in an industry that were impacting the quality of my sleep and therefore impacting not only my productivity and the quantity of work that I could do, but the quality of work that I was doing. So I'd love to hear which of these resonates most deeply with you, something that you think you'd like to try on in an effort to engineer your own energy and feel less stress and less burnout as a result. Love to hear that in the comments. Please share these videos with anyone you think might benefit from learning more about how they can engineer their energy. I'll be back next week with another topic on this same line of thinking on how you can, in fact, implement habits or avoid habits that are depriving you of energy, increasing your stress, or leading to burnout. I will see you next Thursday, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on this platform.